Hello everyone, AP is here, 9th of April, hope everybody is doing fantastic, and I want to take this opportunity to wish everybody happy belated Easter, so happy holidays guys. Now, let's discuss Bitcoin price action, but before we do so, general disclaimer, this video is not meant to be taken as a financial advice, only for your educational and entertainment purposes. I hope that all of you will become independent in your trading decision making, and please treat this video as set of technical arguments for you to base your trading opinion on. I don't really share trading setups. However, I might give you different targets from the classical approach, which, I don't know, they're so obvious and so on top that pretty much everybody should be able to recognize them. Now, let's get to the question in place, which is Bitcoin price action. On 1 month's time frame, I've discussed in the previous videos that we've breached 61.8 at 7.6k. We had an 8 EMMA, which had been our support for 2 years, which is acting as a double resistance now at 7.6k, and BTC hasn't really been able to go to that level or establish even an intraday closing price above it. So nothing much. BTC is not really being very strong right now. And if you follow me on Twitter, I have discussed that we only need a 1 week close below 50 moving average for a full bear market setting. Now here is something very important, and this video is going to follow a more formulaic approach. I'm going to go from the time frame from 1 month to 1 week to 1 day to intraday. Within that, I'm going to discuss which is going to be the most likely price environment trading setting for the bear market, because right now there is no real bear market. If you haven't been below 1 weekly 50 moving average, you didn't really see the real bear market. There is going to be no liquidity to trade with. It's going to be exceptionally difficult, and we need to prepare for that. Now, 8 exponential moving average, just a general note, is a very popular setting for exponential moving average. It's even called a trigger line, and it got its name because quite evidently it has been popular by swing traders, and the fact that it has been a support for 2 years and now is acting as a resistance is not a good sign. So the test of 7.86 at 4.4k is a very likely scenario. Now let's go into 1 week here. Now on 1 week, and pretty much those people that follow me on Telegram and those people that have common sense, they know that I have called for people to short when we go into, well, right now it's even going lower, so when we're going to break below 6.8k here, which was the close of the previous weekly candle, and BTC has been following this signal, well, let's say this pattern where it has 2 expansionary candles, 1 contractionary candle or inside candle with lower volume, and this has been happening here as well. We had 2 expansionary candles, inverted bullish hammer on low volume, possible reversal sign, but on the Monday of the next week we already start dumping, and the same is happening here. We had an inside doji, second week in a row where we're literally fighting for our life to stay on top of 50 weekly moving average. It fails on the first Monday, and it's telling you to go short right now if you're an aggressive trader in a higher time frame. Now your target would be 4.4k. Here is a Fibonacci line. There are a few better ones that I'm going to give you through intraday levels and Elliott wave on the lower time frame. That is just my style. There are different waves to come up with those targets. So if you don't like Elliott wave, well, I'm sorry, it's the ones that I use. So as I've said prior, when we were on one day, we had pretty much failed to bounce from 200 moving average for 4 days in a row. The sale has moved afterwards, and the same is happening on 1 weekly. I don't see why, if for 2 weeks we failed to find a bounce at 50 period moving average on 1 week, why it should give us a bounce in the 3rd week. Literally doesn't make any sense. Exceptionally, if you look at the buying volume coming mostly from short squeezes, there is not really much to talk about. So on 1 day as well, there is not really much to talk about. Now here is something that I want to touch upon, which is very important. when this intraday low is going to get breached. And for me, this intraday low is just a semantic to say that it was the low of this year. It doesn't make much sense to call it the low from technical perspective. For 3 weeks, we've posted lower closing print than the week during 6K in February for 3 weeks. It's telling you that the higher time frame is turning extremely bearish, and the test of this intraday level is going to come shortly, and it's not going to withstand the pressure. Higher time frame is always more important than a lower time frame. You don't F with a higher time frame because of an intraday low. So let's go into 1 day time frame here. Well, here's something that I have talked previously about. We had an ABC per Elliott wave structure, then we had an ABC here as well, 3-wave pattern to form a C, and actually let's go into 4-hour time frame. So I think I have it labeled here. Okay, maybe 2-hour time frame. Yay, 2-hour. So I've discussed it previously. The way I use Elliott wave is to distinguish between a main trend and a secondary trend, and the main trend is denoted by 5 waves and the secondary trend is denoted by 3 waves. The main trend is very impulsive, it doesn't overlap. The secondary trend is pretty much trying to correct, and it's very overlappy. Now the problem is because there are different patterns in Elliott wave, you can find the overlappy action even in the primary trend, and that is something that comes with proficiency of using this technique. But as a predictive tool, Elliott wave has been the best tool for me, bar none. So here is something that we need to discuss. So the end of a correctionary pattern, which has been here, so from 20k we dropped to 6k, we have ended the correctionary pattern. But the end of a correctionary pattern doesn't tell you that the correction has ended, because you have this WXY and WXYXZ patterns. Now, I have talked in my previous video, and I don't really want to discuss this once again, but when 4.3k, if it's going to break, the next level is 3k, which is the last support to resistance on 1 week chart, and pretty much here. So you can see it has been resistance to support. So we should test it, and the test of this long trend line here is going to give us a full reset kind of behavior for BTC. So the full reset would tell me that RSI has to be below 30, on balance volume has to be a specific number, and we're going to test this last supported resistance and this trend line, which has been acting as a momentum trend line for 2 years, I believe. Yes. So let's go into 4-hour intraday once again. And so what has been happening here? Well, we had a double top, then we had an ABC, we had 5 waves, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, ABC, 3 waves for B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for C. Very technical, has been pretty easy to predict. So you had A, B going to here, and you had 7.86, which is a respected Fibonacci level here from which it bounced, on top of 70.86 from the previous swing. So it has been extremely technical, not too much. So you have ABC to form this W, then you had an ABC to form an X, and now you're starting to form one more ABC for the Y leg of this red Y. So let me change the color here so you don't get confused. So here, and let me change the scale so you will be able to tell the difference. So we have a 1 second here, sub micro. So WXY is really nothing more than a connection of correctionary patterns, and we had an ABC pattern here, which is a 5-3-5 pattern, and we had an ABC for a 3-leg pattern for X. And now we're getting one more ABC for our red Y for a bigger scale. Now, if we go for 1-to-1 extension, which is the most common one, 1-to-1 extension has given us 4.7k here. Now, 1.618 extension is going just berserk and telling us that it's going to be 2k. So most not so likely What is the next likely levels? 1, 2, 3, 6, 1, 4 as well. Let's try to scout this at the moment. So where is 1, 2, 3, 6? I should have it here. Oh, okay, here. So you can see that 1, 2, 3, 6 is at 3.6k and 140 is at 3k. So those are respective Fibonacci levels. Happen quite a lot, and to be fair, I'm pretty sure that we're going to get to 3k one way or another. And the reason for this, when we're going to bridge this intraday low, this is going to be a new capitulation phase. And as you can see here, we had 5 waves which formed one pattern, then we had 3 legs here to form the second pattern, and even a one-to-one extension is going to give us 4.7681, and 1.681 is going to give us 3k, which I have talked previously about. Now, here are a few considerations here. We know that this has been a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to give the first impulsive leg of the C here, leg C. And this too has been extremely easy to short. You had 0.618, which is the most likely position for wave 2 to be at. You had RSI and 4 hour getting, how is this called, hidden bearish divergence. You had a high high going to lower high, and on 1 hour at that point of time you pretty much were getting a quadruple bearish divergence. So it has been telling you, refill the shorts, please refill the shorts, please refill the shorts, I'm begging you, please refill the shorts. And if you didn't really hear what the chart was telling you, well, you missed this profit move, which has given you 400 USD move. Now let's go into 4-hour time frame here. And 4-hour time frame, the most likely position for wave 3 is 1.618. Now if you're conservative, you might target 6.2k here, which is going to be a double bottom level if you believe in the bulls. I certainly don't. If I won't see any good reversal signs as bullish divergence on at least 2 hour or something, I'm not going to take my position away here. I'm just going to let it ride here at 5.5k. So, and you can see also the 2.618 session is going to 4.5k. So from 4.5k to 4.7k, we have this cluster of extensions going there. So it's going to be a very likely position to test. Now what we don't know, if it's going to be the end of the correction. As I have said in the beginning of this video, the end of the correctionary pattern doesn't imply the end of the correction. And until the RSI is going to be below 35, until OBV is going to reach the values that I have showed you in the previous video, until we're going to test the trend line, which has been our momentum trend line for 2 years, I will be very cautious with calling it the bottom. I want a full reset type of scenario for me to play margin long positions. If not, I'm going to have my exchange wallet filled on Bitfinex, I'm going to have my Trezor ready, and I will just let BTC rest there for a year or so. But I'm not going to go into margin long positions with most of my account because there hasn't been a full retest. It might come anytime. Now what's most likely going to give you, it's going to give you a WXYXZ pattern. So this WXY is going to give you a WXYXZ pattern to give you one more test of a 3k level. Now honestly saying, to me, this short with stop at 7.1k is the last big trade for this bear market, and if you're not taking it, I don't really know what you're doing. Educate yourself on classical charting, and good luck to us. I certainly didn't really want to turn in a full-time bear, but if the chart is telling me to do this, I'm going to to do this. I have no personal problem against BTC, I love it. I have no personal problem against FANG, but shorting FANG has been also quite profitable the last months. I'm really lost with time. But anyway, so hope everybody understood that BTC really doesn't have much hope. Once this trend line and intraday low 6k is being breached, you will see a new capitulation. You will see so much volume selling here that you will be really spooked. And guys, and girls, I'm just going to tell you, if you can take a short here at 7.1k with a stop at 7.1k, it's a very good risk to reward setup, and it's just going ballistic because you're targeting here, you're targeting 4.7k, so it's giving you 3.84, almost 4 risk to reward scenario, 4 to 1. Those trades don't come often. Those trades just don't come often. So be sure to go into a lower time frame to get a better position, because this rip for 4 hours so low. Well, we should see some bounce soon. It's going to be a 1. I'm pretty sure that it's wave 1, 2, then 3, 4 for this 3s, and we're going to get a 4, and then we're going to get a 5. But wave 3 is the ones that you want to play, and wave 3 of 3 here is going to be just ballistic. So I'm getting my popcorn ready, and I just really want to watch BTC burn today. So have a nice day. Hope everybody's doing fine. If something, I warned you pretty much. If you were on Telegram chats, I've warned you at 16k here when B has got to 61.8 FIB here, and had a bearish divergence coming in. But if you trade it from closing prices, it would be clearly on 61.8. So I have been warning you here, and ever since then, I really didn't call the bottom here at 6k, and I don't think that BTC is going to survive today as well. And I really believe that today is a day when we will see the lower intraday lows in 6k. If not, well, somewhere during this week. But the fact that we're in wave 3 is telling me that it should get moving quite fast and quite soon. So hope everybody understood the risks that are happening here. I'm not trying to spread FUD. I'm giving you classical charting approach, classical charting entry, classical targets, and the ways that you should analyze charts. I don't really care if it was BTC or it was my national currency. So if you go to 5-minute time frame, here's a very important thing. This has started to trade like Forex, and this Bayesian patterns here for Elliott wave traders is not something that they are used to. And the reason for that is, with Elliott wave you're used to this sharp spikes, right? They go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But here you're not used to this, and this is per Wyckoff distribution is giving you spring, stop hunting goes up, stop hunting goes up, and this has been pretty much a signal with ongoing 4-hour hidden bearish divergence, a signal to short. So very classical, nothing really changed. I think that I've pretty much have repeated myself over and over again during this video, so hope everybody's doing fantastic, and I wish you guys luck. Put a stop about 7.1k, let it ride to the bottom. The next target would be around 5.5k. If you want to tell me thanks for this good short, my LTC tip jar is going to be in the description, and I wish you guys a good day. See ya.